What's going on, people? It's your boy Forde, aka Forde Have Mercy. It's Monday the 26th of June. Apologies for taking the weekend off. I thought I'd actually try and enjoy some of this sunshine, and probably the worst weekend to take off in terms of news at Newcastle United because everything's been going off. So I'm going to be now playing catch up for the past or the next couple of days now. Starting off with the big news about Rafa Benitez. His future is currently in doubt now. Starting off with Rob Draper's article that came out over the weekend, talk about his future and the uncertainty around transfers and all the rest of it now. Newcastle United fans, including myself, were actually going off on one. Now, to be honest with you, from my background as well, because I'm a journalist myself, there is a hint of truth to it. Now, let me cast your mind back to January this year, where we were supposed to spend some money. We were supposed to bring in Andros Townsend. I believe Rafa Benitez did actually want to bring Andros Townsend in, but he was convinced otherwise, or told otherwise, that we can't spend money now whilst we're in the Championship. This might, this may take away from your funds basically in the summer. So that is the reason why we didn't spend in January. So fast forward to today now. Rafa Benitez is expecting us to go all gung-ho with all the money that we have available to him, because obviously Mike Ashley came out with that whole big statement about you can have this money, you can have that money, money that we've got from going up, money that we have from player sales and all the rest of it now. And he's expecting to get some deals done ASAP. Now, we're all saying about, we've not signed a player this time last year until what, June 28th, I think Matt Sells was the first signing and all the rest of it now. But Rafa Benitez is no new school manager. He knows the deal. He wants to get players in even before the official date is open and get players in for pre-season training and all the rest of it now. That's how on top of Rafa Benitez's game he is. So that is the reason why he wants to get players in ASAP. So we can go on about, we've not had a player in, we've got Atsu signed, but he was already there. He wants to get all of his key signings. I mean key signings like a centre-half in, a striker in, a central defensive midfielder in, all of those signings in before all of the madness takes off. Because when it comes to competing with other clubs, we can't really compete at that level at the moment, because the way transfer fees are going in, they are actually going in like 50 million pounds for 20 million pound players back in the day. So that's the reason why Rafa Benitez wants to get his players in. He's seeing now that all of these transfer targets are not going his way. The likes of, who we've got, Caballero possibly going to Chelsea, Mangala possibly going to Stoke, Abraham, which is another one I'll get onto, possibly going to Swansea City. So he's seeing all of these transfer players going left rather than coming right to Newcastle, and that's what's getting him uncertain and frustrated as well. Whether he wants to walk out or not is a different story, but I'm sure discussions are going to be held between him, Lee Charnley, and of course Mike Ashley over the next couple of days as well. So there is an element of truth to what these journalists are saying, bearing in mind that these journalists are in the same room as Rafa Benitez pretty much every week during the season, and some of them even have his mobile number, his close associates number and all the rest of it now. So they do actually have elements of truth to it. They're not just making it up for clickbait stories, believe me on that one. So, and also what I was going to add to you as well, Rafa Benitez has not really been in this situation before. Now, if you look at all the other clubs that he's been at before, Liverpool, and let's take Real Madrid as well, he's been at clubs where spending wasn't an issue. I mean, even when he's at Liverpool, he wasn't spending massive loads of money, but he was spending money and it wasn't an issue. Now at Newcastle United, we're more cautious about things, let's put it that way. We don't spend money willy-nilly on just this person, that person, all the rest of it now. We have a wage structure, which is, I think, part of the reason why we've not been signing some of these players. If you look at the likes of Mangala and Caballero, who've been accustomed to big money at Manchester City, for them to drop to Newcastle United now, where a wage structure is probably, what, 40 grand a week for a really, really decent player, and then there's some exceptions that are above it, like the likes of Shelby and all the rest of it now. They're probably thinking, hold on a minute, I can get much more elsewhere and probably be at the same level as Newcastle will be this season. So again, those are sort of things that you've got to bear in mind as well. Now, the other story I need to get into is this Tamir Abraham story about, I think it's the Mirror came out with, he doesn't want to sign for Newcastle United because of the nightlife. That's the deciding factor. Now, a lot of people laughed it off, including myself, because I can kind of see it from both points of view. Now, he could get distracted because, again, Newcastle's nightlife, should I say, is absolutely sick. But if we come from myself, a Londoner going out to Newcastle, it's mad. Everything's in that small little area there. Like, it's a small city. Let's make no mistake about it, compared to London anyway. So I can see what he's talking about. And then plus, when players go out as well, they're mobbed. Like, I've seen it for myself when they go to Tup, where you go to Lavello's and all the rest of it now. So I can kind of see where he's coming from in that point of view. Now, people be saying, wait, Tammy Abraham's from London, so you must be used to it. Bearing in mind, London's a massive city, and the likes of Tammy Abraham can still probably go out and sometimes not get noticed because he's not a mega star. Like, he was at Bristol City last season as well. So again, it's kind of similar to Newcastle in a way, but obviously on a smaller scale and not as known for the nightlife as obviously Swansea is, or Bristol as well. And you've got to bear in mind that he's just 19 as well, about to be 20 this year. So he's only been legally able to go out as of like a year, really. So those are the sort of things you've got to take into consideration. I think this is more advice that was given to him, and that's how the stories run, rather than him coming out in the papers saying that, no, I'm not going to Newcastle because of the nightlife, because it doesn't make sense. Plus, he's in the European Under-21 Championship, so I'm sure he's more focused on trying to beat Germany than worried about Newcastle's nightlife. So I think that's more advice given to him, but there's my 2 cents added to it because of what I know. And obviously, bearing in mind, he's only 19 years of age, so he's only had a year worth of clubbing in him, and he's been in Bristol City for, well, the past season. So again, his clubbing has been probably bits of London and mostly in Bristol, you know, getting some first team football. So that's where it is really with Rafa Benitez's future, and obviously Tammy Abraham's story as well. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below, guys. I'm sure this is going to run for at least a big amount of time, because bearing in mind, we've had a history of it in the past, obviously with Kevin Keegan as well, the second time round. And obviously he had his thoughts on the board as well. And I think due to our history with the board and managers anyway, these sort of stories are going to run. But I do believe there's an element of truth in it as well, because Rafa Benitez does like to get things done relatively early, relatively soon, and he's definitely not having that at Newcastle. So he's definitely got a big challenge on his hands, and hopefully he's going to see it through, because otherwise he will walk, and believe me, he will. Anyway, that's nice talking to you. I'm sure I've got loads more stories to get through, and you'll be seeing a lot of me today, so bear it in mind. Peace.